Good afternoon, good people. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday so far. I'm actually not going to keep you all terribly long here today, but I do want to go over some of the things that hopefully you submitted today. If you didn't get a chance to submit this research question yet on e-learning, it's still not too late to do so, but try and submit it as quickly as you can. The later it is, the more points you'll lose. And more pertinently, it'll be more challenging to get all the additional points that'll come forward if this assignment is not done well. So I want to go over it very quickly because, again, this is going to inform so much of what we're going to do over the next couple of months. So I appreciate you all getting an early start on that. From what I've seen so far, I've seen some really good research questions. I'm excited to see what you all learn. So again, I'm not going to go through the directions here, but I'll begin here where your task for this assignment today was to add to the tradition of social science by formulating a social scientific research question. Give me 1 second. So again, you would add to this by formulating a social scientific research question. And again, not just a question, a social scientific research question. And this also includes a hypothesis or hypotheses. Some of you all have made more than one conclusion. And again, what we're going to do over the next few weeks, you got this question, you got an educated guess about what you think the answer to the question is, and you're simply going to test out whether or not it's true or not. Now listen up here, young people. Your goal is not to prove that your hypothesis is right. Your goal is not to prove that your hypothesis is right. Your goal is not to prove that your hypothesis is right. Your goal is to answer the question. So Janiyah, we find that the pandemic has had no effect on suicide rates at all, or that income level is not affected. We'll say that. If we find that there's no relationship between age and physical abuse, we'll say that. Like, again, our goal is not to prove ourselves right. Our goal is to find out what the answer to the question is for right or for wrong. So keep this in mind going forward. Begin to review your text if you haven't done so, especially the first couple of chapters. And one of the things that you definitely going to be encouraged heavily to do, and that you quite frankly will need to do this assignment well, is to stop by. Obviously, you won't be able to stop by, but schedule on Zoom some office hour meetings. And we'll go through the steps of formulating an effective research question and then other steps that will come along with that. Do keep in mind that even some of the assignments that you all turned in today, it is a possibility that there might be a slight change to your research question, like, maybe another word or two, or maybe something that when you start doing some of the early research strikes you as a little bit more interesting. So we still got room if you need to change it. But otherwise, whatever you wrote today in terms of your assignment, this is very important, Deja. The question needs to be worded the exact same way every single time. The question needs to be worded the exact same way every single time. Changing the wording could change, again, what you're looking for dramatically. So keep this in mind. So as we talked about, one of your first considerations, and this is particularly true if anybody's still trying to formulate a question, what social phenomena are you personally curious about, but you're uncertain about the answer to your query or how to find the answer? So there's something that you've observed and you wonder why this happens. Why does the rain bring about certain, body aches? Like, so I've heard, like, if you've had like a gunshot or something, like if you've been a gunshot victim, that if it rains, that the pain will be aggravated on days like that. So maybe you've observed that and you want to know why. Maybe you want to know why women are more comfortable speaking up in class than male students are. Whatever it may be, it could be something that's really earth-shattering. It could be something that's really mundane. In another class, a student is looking at the psychological factors that motivate sugar daddies, like is what she's trying to focus on. So it could be anything of interest to you. In fact, it should be for it to hold your attention. The focus, again, in terms of how you're going to be graded for this assignment, is the clarity and originality of your research question. So you want to be very clear with the wording. And again, that's not something that you got to do by yourself. Many students, again, have reached out and we worked through the process of getting the fine-tuned research question. The practicality of being able to test your hypothesis scientifically. Again, we don't just want to test it, we want to be able to test it scientifically. And we went through chapter 1 and kind of unpacking what that means. And then finally, the extent that your research question can explore some level of cause and effect that can be measured or observed. Again, it's not just enough for us to have these conclusions. We got to be able to see them objectively on paper for ourselves, and other people can look at the same information and get the same conclusions. So again, be very clear about what you're doing here today, because even though obviously this assignment was due today, for those that may still be working, or even for those who are not, this is going to inform everything that we do go forward. So it's really important that you have clarity on that. Very briefly, I want to get into the next assignment, which isn't due until February 25th. It's not due until February 25th, but I want to begin to talk about this a little bit today, because I would like for you all to get started on this process this weekend. And then Nashia, what we're going to do most of next week is actually use our class time to help you all develop this assignment. So next week, we're going to use this class time to help you all develop and build this assignment during our class time. But I would encourage you to get started on it this weekend. And if you have any questions for me, don't hesitate to let me know. But this is definitely something that you're going to have to work in strong collaboration with myself, the library staff, the Writing Center. Again, none of this is designed for you to just try and do by yourself. Do y'all hear me on that? So,
yes, sir.
So the next assignment is going to be an annotated bibliography. Again, we got just about a month to do it. So now, even though it's due on February 25th, this is not an assignment you want to wait on to February 18th to start. But by any chance, has anybody in here done annotated bibliography before? Has anybody ever done annotated bibliography for any other class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. I figured as much. So again, you know what this is here. You got your research questions. So simply what you're going to do here, Janiyah, is start to accumulate sources that are relevant to your topic, and information is going to help you answer the research question. You got your research question. You want to test your hypothesis. So you're going to develop academic sources. Don't just be doing no generic Google search, and then your uncle got like a blog. Might be very informative and really deep. That's not the kind of data we're going to be looking for here. So, and you want to be able to utilize it. You're going to put this in APA format. Is there anyone here who's familiar with APA? Have you used APA before?
Yes.
Word. I figured as much. And this is definitely something that you want to get familiar with, where, as we talked about, most of you all are probably going to go into graduate school very shortly. And you're going to use, and quite frankly, Deja, you're going to use all types of different sources, citation sources. So there's MLA, there's Chicago style. It's a couple more that I cannot think of off the top of my head. But in the social sciences, sociology, psychology, history to an extent, APA is usually what's most commonly used. So begin to familiarize yourself with that here. If you haven't done so, and right on the assignment itself, you can you see there's a link, you just copy and paste that, and it'll break down how you want to format that. And again, my hope is that along the way, Nashia, you're going to submit several rough drafts of this assignment, so you'll get help along the way. So how are you going to be graded on this assignment, you may ask Latasia? The first is just making sure that you have proper formatting, making sure that everything is formatted well within the assignment. The biggest key, Janiyah, is going to be how well you summarize each sources. What do you think are some of the things that you want to include in the summary? Again, some of you have done this already, but in the summary of the sources, and it should be about maybe 4 to 6 sentences, what type of things should go in there within that information?
The purpose of the article, the methods that they use, the audience, who did they use to test the observation, or whatever the case may be.
Outstanding, Janiyah. I'm sorry, did I cut you off? I apologize.
That's all I got right now.
So, good. And again, take notes, y'all. Taking notes does not just mean I only take notes when Dr. Muhammad is speaking. Please make sure that you're listening to Sierra classmates as well. So very good, Janiyah. So those are the things, again, you want to include in your summary. And as I talked about, Latasia, you will not have to do that by yourself. And then the most important, and this is where I'm definitely going to come in and assist, tying in the relevance of these sources to your direct research question. As Janiyah spoke about before, you're going to explain the methods that they use and what are some of the different research methods in social science again? What are some of the general categories of research methods? Anybody remember that? Y'all know this. What are some of our methods? Come on, y'all.
Surveys.
Good.
Experiment.
Good. Observations. Got case studies. Experiments. Very good. Excellent. So the authors, and let me be clear here, when you start to dig into these sources, I know that, again, it is a busy time for everybody, and this is a very time-intensive class, so listen to me. I am not asking you, at least initially, to read the entire articles. Once you get these sources, I'm not going to ask you to sit down and read a whole 35-page article. Again, if you want to do that, you can, but the main thing I want you to look at is the abstracts. Just look at the abstracts initially. And in that abstract, Latasia, they should tell you all those things that Janiyah just spoke about. They're going to tell you their methods. They're going to tell you who was the subjects of their study, that they do white women between the age of 30 and 40, that they do high school students at a school in the upper Midwest. Was it a Baptist church membership in Texas? So again, you want to be very clear on that. And again, those are things I'll help you to do. So this is due February 25th, but y'all see how quickly time moves, right? Like it just seemed like yesterday was New Year's Eve, and now we're already at the end of January, Latasia. So time moves very swiftly. Wait till you get to be my age. It really moves quick. So do not hesitate to get started on this assignment. Hell, like I said, I'm gonna let y'all go a little bit early. There's no reason, like again, you had plans today, Latasia, for your time to be on lock between 1 and 2:20 today. So I'm gonna let you go a little bit early. There's no reason if you want to, you can get at least started on this assignment today. So again, it's due on February 25th. It would be my expectation, Janiyah, that you're gonna send me several rough drafts between now and then. Let's look at what we wanna do here very carefully. So after you have formulated your research question and your hypothesis, Nishaya, that's going to guide your research to the completion of this course, you're going to be required to submit an annotated bibliography of at least 20 sources in an APA format. At least 20 sources. Now look here, Latasia. A lot of times people be trying to look at like 20 sources. Off top, like I'm going to encourage you to like search for like 25 or 30, because it's likely that once we go through some of those sources, you may have to cut some of them because they may not be as relevant. So let's try and do more. Do not just be trying to aim just for 20. Besides, this should be a topic that you care about. So like, you should I want to encourage you to get as much information on it as possible. As I've talked about with some of you all, Brianna, I would love it if, for those of you who already know that you want to go to graduate school, who know that you definitely want to do that, you're probably going to have to do a master's thesis. If you want to go ahead and move up to that PhD, which I would definitely encourage you to do, Dr. Diamond Thomas, there's no reason at all that the topic that you want to explore in grad school or when you get your PhD, that you can't start that now. So if you got a sense of the topic that may interest you for your entire career, like you can use this class to kind of get you started on that. So keep that in mind as well. The assignment is going to consist of you locating at least 20 academic sources, and you see there, Diamond, it has underlined academic. I don't expect every undergraduate student to fully understand and comprehend what that means. I didn't fully comprehend what it meant when I was an undergrad. Like I had to be guided through this process, so you'll be guided as well. That are relevant to your research question and hypothesis. After listing the source in APA format, Janiyah, you should summarize each source in 48 sentences in your own words. As Ms. Barnes talked about, the sources should include the following: an explanation of how the information from this article or book, Brianna, is related to your research question in some form. It should detail briefly the methods the author used to answer their research question, a summary of their findings and conclusions, and a very brief explanation of the author's professional background that designates them from an expert on the topic. But Janiyah was quite correct. Also, make sure you include a little bit of information about the subjects themselves. How many? Don't just tell me that they were interviewing teenage respondents. I need you to write this out. They interviewed 1,300 white teenagers between the ages of 13 and 17. You got to write it out like that. And again, as I talked about, you're going to get plenty of help doing that. We're going to do a lot of this in class next week. An assignment, even though I put here, is due on September 29, 2020. Do not worry, you're not behind on this assignment. That's a misprint. It's due on February 25th. As always, Nashaya, it is highly advised that you make an office hour appointment. Where even though we're going to go over this in class, I still want you to make some office hour appointments where we're going to go over this in a little bit more detail, because Diamond, you might not care as much about, the kind of like attention in the shy students. Like, what about my research project? So we're going to devote some office hours to that as well before you submit the final assignment. But again, I will only look at rough drafts up until February 18th, So it would be my sincere hope that by at least next Friday, some of y'all at least have something to show me. Are there any questions about this assignment? Anything at all?
Is there a link provided for the library? Because I don't stay on campus, so.
Great question. Thank you. Yes. 1 second. Great question. All right, let me share my screen. Give me 1 moment. Are there any other questions while I'm trying to pull this up? Okay, so where did I go here? All right, so you all can see my screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so dig it and follow me here. And keep in mind, this lecture is being recorded. So if you forget these steps, so you're not in a position to like write this down or even follow along with me, go back and look at this lecture later on today, and this information will be here for you. So on the university website, I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and I'm going to click on Flipper Library. We are going to Flipper Forms. And then you see here Flipper Research Systems request, Janaya. You click on that. And then it'll ask you to fill out this form. And you just tell them again what you need. Like it can be at a time that's convenient for you. Their hours are pretty flexible, but make sure it's a time where you can really give it your undivided attention because you really want to be focused. And I'm gonna for my own peace of mind, I will still send you this link in our class course. But in case again, you're not able to check your email or you lose it later, make note of those simple steps. And I will highly encourage you. Like I said, I would love it if y'all could, do some of this over the weekend. You don't have to, so Nashaya, I don't expect you to start doing the annotated bibliography this weekend. But what do y'all think would be a reasonable amount of sources for y'all to get between now and Tuesday that maybe I might feel generous and give y'all some extra credit about? What do y'all think would be a good amount of sources between now and Tuesday for y'all to show and bring to class? Because it also would help our lecture a little bit as well. What do y'all think would be a good amount, a reasonable amount of sources for you all to gather between now and Tuesday? What's a reasonable number?
8 or 12.
Wait, say it again, Janaya.
8 through 12.
Okay. I'm gonna split any other thoughts? Any other thoughts? All right, so dig it. If you can show me 10 sources related to your topic, if you can email them to me between now and Tuesday, I'll give you 3 extra credit points towards your final score. 10 sources. Now look, Nashaya, if you want to get 15 or 20, I'm still only giving you 3 points, but you'll save yourself some time if you want to get more than that. And don't just be doing some bogus searches. Really do some academic searches. One that's real, I know is free to you all, is Google Scholar. But on the library, through Flipper Library, you all probably have access to much more rich databases than that. There's no reason at all where you can't fill out this form today, Brianna, and be like, hey, can you help me get these 10 sources? They'll probably help you gather them very quickly, copy and paste them in APA style onto a Word document, email it to me, and I'll give you some feedback and some extra credit points. No pressure if you can't do it, but I would really encourage you to do so. Again, assignment is due on February 25th. So if you can knock that out, you will really be ahead of the game. I'm sure you've heard at times that this class can be very stressful, but the main reason it's stressful, quite frankly, is that I be begging people to work in these paces, and my advice is usually ignored. And people start wait until February 20th to start these assignments. And if you do that, make no mistake about it, Nishai, it's going to be damn stressful. Absolutely. But we ain't got to do that, right? If y'all work with me, by the time that we end class next Thursday, you'll have a lot of this done. Do y'all believe me?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
All right, so let's get to work. I'm going to send this link in a little bit. If you haven't submitted your research question yet, please do so. I'll have these graded for y'all pretty quickly, and we'll give you direct feedback that can help and assist you as well. But go ahead and get started on gathering those sources. That's really the hardest part of the whole class. Like once you get these down and we start to go through them together, you're not going to have to do it by yourself. Then it's going to be easy peasy from there. Trust me, listen to me, please, and it'll be real easy. And I think you'll learn a lot and have a lot of fun with this project. Any questions before we go for the day?
So only sources.
You go ahead.
Go ahead, Nishai.
Oh, does the resources have to last like for 10 years or 5 years?
Oh, great question. No, like as with any topic, the more recent the sources, the better. But no, I won't even put a limit on that. If you find something from 1890 that is really relevant, go ahead and stick it in there. Good question. Nishai, I thought I heard a question.
Only academic sources. So like if I come across a traditional source, you don't want to look at it like an article or something?
Good question. You still include them because there are some news articles and news reports. So like even like I'm not sure if you get like that news link that I sent you. You can use that. So yes, we want to mainly don't give me 20 generic sources like that. But yes, you can include some of those as well. But for the most part, you want to include academic sources, and we'll talk about the reasons why that is next week. But right now, yes, you can. Yeah, Phil, you can send me those as well. Good question. Just use your better judgment, Janaya, and like it should be giving you some data that speaks to larger patterns. So like in that in the news article I sent you, it talked about like, this particular family, but then it gave you some wider data about, the number of suicides and stuff like that. If you haven't got a chance, check it out, but brace yourself. It's a bit of a difficult watch, quite frankly. Other questions? If any other questions do come to mind between now and Tuesday, don't hesitate to let me know. I'll be sending out the link for that class. I don't think I posted that one yet, so I'll put it on your calendar sometime over the next couple of days. Get to work on these assignments, and I'm excited to see what you do with them. Y'all have a good weekend if I don't talk to y'all no more.